Well folks, what is there to say? We just got the official reveal of Jurassic World Rebirth, the 7th Jurassic film in the franchise, the 4th Jurassic World film, and the start of a brand new series within the overarching franchise. We've got the official logo reveal, we've got actual images from the film itself for the very first time, and we've got a full plot synopsis to dig our teeth into. We should talk very briefly about the logo as well. This isn't accidental. The way it comes onto the screen during the teaser is very much a rising sun, you know, the dawn of a new day, emphasizing that rebirth approach. You can see we've got these contrast orange and blue colors, the sea, the sky, the sun. We're going back to a natural location, and it's a rebirth for the franchise. Very logical and very cool looking. But enough of that, let's take a look at our very first images from Jurassic World Rebirth. Here we've got Jonathan Bailey and Scarlett Johansson, two of our protagonists. They're working together as part of a team. We'll hear much more about that in just a moment. But Johansson in this film is playing like a covert operative. She's basically going to be a toned down Black Widow, I assume. And then Jonathan Bailey on the left is our new Alan Grant stand-in. Basically, he's going to be playing the paleontologist on the crew. And I think if there's one thing I really like about this image, other than the return, of course, of the long grass, is simply that Jonathan Bailey, I mean, he got kind of shredded for this role, but he at least doesn't look like he's pushing the Chris Pratt all-action macho hero kind of thing. Scarlett Johansson can play that role really well, but I'm hopeful the film is going to take less of that superhero slant that I felt the film started to go into over the last few years. They're wearing very sort of rugged clothing. This to me is the Lost World Jurassic Park Sarah Harding sort of vibes. Obviously we can't glean too much from a singular image, but it is worth noting the clothing they're wearing, the sort of style that we're seeing here. And we have a second image here. I believe this is probably Mahershala Ali, who we know is also playing one of the primary characters in the film. And of course we've got a little bit of a nostalgic callback here to the iconic flare scene from the first film. It's interesting to note he is in much more military style gear. I'm not going to try to spoil anything based on other things we've seen so far, but he is in sort of that military camo sort of gear. And actually there's a little hint, there's not too much to take from this either, but there's a little hint in the background there. You can see we've got this warning poster attached to the pole here, and in the bottom right corner you can see what, in my opinion, is unmistakably the InGen logo there, with the big N with the InGen words cutting through it like that. So we are still in an InGen owned area, and that's really interesting when we go into the rest of the film, as we'll see in just a moment. Back onto the main image, this would definitely suggest a possible Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's something we'll have to talk about a little bit later on in the video, because we do have a hint as to what animals might be in this film, and I would be a little surprised if it is the Rex. But you know, the flare, that iconic flare moment is very much a Rex sort of thing. We'll have to wait and see. Let's check out the plot details. All of this was provided by the official Jurassic World channel. This is the full plot information. Next summer, 3 years after the Jurassic World trilogy concluded, with each film surpassing $1 billion, don't know why they think we'd care about that, at the global box office, the enduring Jurassic series evolves in an ingenious new direction with Jurassic World Rebirth. So far, a lot of what we've seen about the film looks like it's kind of back to basics, but I will say, as you're about to see, the plot is definitely a new direction. Anchored by iconic action superstar Scarlett Johansson, breakthrough talent Jonathan Bailey, and two-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali, this action-packed new chapter sees an intrepid team racing to secure DNA samples from the 3 most colossal creatures across land, sea, and air. So let's talk about that just for a second, because it kind of sounds like a video game to me. Now, we will have an explanation as to why they're collecting these samples shortly, but the 3 most colossal creatures. Now, what's going to be interesting here is, do they try to come up with new ones, or do we bank on what we already have? So logically, at the moment, the most colossal creatures would be probably Brachiosaurus for your land, or maybe we're going for the Giganotosaurus if we're going for a predator. I can see a world where they just say it's the Rex. I can see a world where we've got a new sauropod or a new large carnivore. I can see a world where it's a Spinosaurus, because in Jurassic Park 3, of course, there's that scene where Grant says it's bigger than the T-Rex. There's a lot of potential for the land if they're pulling from the franchise history, but I think the Giga is the largest established predator and the Brachie is the largest established herbivore at this point in time. Sea, of course, the largest creature is by far the Mosasaurus. We'll hear a little bit more about the ocean stuff in just a moment as well. There's been a lot of shaking boats, there's a bit of a shipwreck going on. It looks like the Mosa might be responsible for that. But again, maybe they're rebirthing entirely and they want to move away from that past stuff. Maybe we're going to establish new creatures in this new iteration of the world, new largest creatures, megalodons, elasmosauruses, tylosaurs, whatever it could be. We could have something else there. And again, for the air, the logical one here is the Quetzalcoatlus, which was absolutely gigantic in Jurassic World Dominion, 1,000 times bigger than anything else we've seen in the air until this point. But again, they could mix it up with Hatzegopteryx or something like that, another Adstarkid. We'll have to wait and see. The film is also starring acclaimed international stars Rupert Friend and Manuel Garcia Rulfo. The film is directed by dynamic visualist Gareth Edwards, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Godzilla more importantly, from a script by original Jurassic Park screenwriter David Coep. So here we go, this is the plot. 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs. Those remaining exist in isolated equatorial environments with climates resembling the one in which they once thrived. The 3 most colossal creatures within that tropical biosphere hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. So first of all, we're still in that Dominion world. You know, we are 5 years after the events of Dominion. They're still talking about those past films. But dinosaurs, we saw them starting to spread around, of course, in the wake of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Dominion in particular, and it seems like they just can't thrive in this environment. They were raised and built for these temperate, these warm, tropical environments, and it seems they're not going to survive outside of that region. So we're containing the dinosaurs to the equator and to those more tropical environments. And the interesting final bit is that these colossal creatures hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind. Why? Why would that be the case? I'm very curious about that. The only logical reason I can think about that is a justification that Biosyn, Masrani, and InGen gave the Giga, the Spino, the Mosa, the Quetzal, etc., some form of genome therapy to make them larger than they would be. The Quetzal is much bigger than a real Quetzalcoatlus would be. So maybe they did something to it to make it so gigantic, and maybe something in that genetic code is how those colossal creatures are going to be relevant to saving people, because otherwise why would big creatures be particularly helpful, you know what I mean? So I'm very curious to see how that's justified within the wider context of the film. We have more information though. Academy Award nominee Joe Hansen plays skilled covert operations expert Zora Bennett, contracted to lead a skilled team on a top secret mission to secure genetic material from the world's 3 most massive dinosaurs. They're going to keep calling aquatics and flyers dinosaurs. When Zora's operation intersects with a civilian family whose boating expedition was capsized by marauding aquatic dinos, and that's why I'm saying you can't look too much into the word dinos, they all find themselves stranded on an island. There you go, where they come face to face with a sinister, shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for decades. So I think we can pretty safely say we're on one of the 5 deaths. I don't think we can say which one for sure. I'm going to suggest it almost definitely isn't Isla Nublar because I think there's too much history there. There's too much established architecture. It could be Isla Sorna, could be Isla Muerta, could be any of the other 5 deaths. We don't know for sure. But InGen has a presence on this island. We're crash landing on an island. And there's some stuff going on. If you want to see a little bit more about what this could be, you should check out the video I posted a few days ago. I don't want to spoil anything here because it hasn't been mentioned in the synopsis, but we maybe have some idea as to what they're exploring here on the island. So if you want to know about that, go check my previous video on the subject. Ali is Duncan Kincaid, Zora's most trusted team leader. So those 3 are our protagonists, our main protagonists. Emmy nominee and Olivier Award winner Jonathan Bailey, Wicked Bridgerton, plays paleontologist Dr. Henry Loomis, which I think is probably a reference. Emmy nominee Rupert Friend, Homeland and Obi-Wan Kenobi, appears as Big Pharma representative Martin Krebs, and Manuel Garcia Rulfo, the Lincoln lawyer murdered on the Orient Express, plays Ruben Delgado, the father of the shipwrecked civilian family. One thing that excites me about this is quite a large cast, and when you've got a really small cast, nobody dies. So I think if you want to make something a little bit more dangerous feeling, you need a bigger cast so you can sort of knock people off and still have a bit of a group dynamic going on. Rupert Friend, I've got to imagine, is going to be an antagonist. How often do you ever get a Big Pharma rep and they're a force for good? I suspect, you know, he's the one who's probably sent this expedition out in the first place, or is at least in charge of the expedition. as a representative of a farmer, and maybe there's some misleading going on as to the true purpose of their expedition here, something like that. I mentioned Congo in my video the other day, and I'm really getting Congo vibes from this, it must be said. The cast also includes Luna Blaze from Manifest, David Iacono from The Summer I Turned Pretty, and Audrina Miranda from Lopez vs. Lopez as Ruben's family. He's got his 3 teenagers, they're the ones who crash, so I'm guessing the father then joins the expedition to go and find them. The film also features, as members of Zora and Krebs' crews, Philippine Velge, Station 11, Beckia Sylvain, BMF, and Ed Screen from Deadpool. Jurassic World Rebirth is directed by BAFTA winner Edwards from a script by Coep, War of the Worlds, which is a great film, but he also did Jurassic Park, based on characters created by Michael Crichton. The film is produced by Oscar nominee Frank Marshall and Patrick Crowley, both long-term Jurassic franchise producers and of this summer's blockbuster, Twisters. Twisters is awesome, by the way. Definitely go see Twisters. The film is executive produced by Steven Spielberg, Dennis L. Stewart, and Jim Spencer. That is the plot synopsis in its entirety for Jurassic World Rebirth. As I say, there is more to it, and we have some hints as to what that'll be, but I don't want to spoil that in this video. But this is the official synopsis as far as we have it. I did not expect, and there hasn't really been any rumours as far as I know, about the drug and genetic aspect, and I'm so curious to see what else is going to be in this film. I have no idea. Like, I just have no idea what dinosaurs we're going to see and stuff like that. This is the first time I've been excited about a Jurassic film since Jurassic World started to get initially rumoured. So, I don't know, I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know what you think in the comment sections down below. Do you have any theories or ideas based on this synopsis? And are you more or less excited about Rebirth in the wake of this synopsis and those early images? Let me know what you think down below. And remember to subscribe to the channel for all the latest on Jurassic World 4 Rebirth. Eventually I'll drop the 4. Thanks for joining me. Cheers much love as always. Bye bye.